Hi, this is going to be my vlog slash a bit of a review of going to see Tom Holland in Romeo and Juliet. I thought I'd do a face to camera video first to give a little bit of context to some of these videos and clips that you're going to see. I will apologise at the beginning of this that my voice is not great and might cut out at certain points. I'm going to try and edit around it. The week that we went, I had COVID, and the day we went was the first day that I'd tested negative. But I had completely lost my voice. If in the clips I'm sounding very hoarse and croaky and a bit squeaky, that is why. We're currently over a month later and my voice is still not back to 100%. It is what it is at this point. Another bit of context that I'd like to give you is that the day we went happened to be the hottest day of the year. It was also one of the first days of school holidays and a Saturday in London. So not only was it 1,000 degrees, but it was teeming with people. So as the video progresses, you shall see me and Lana slowly start to melt. Apologies if we look like puddles by the end of the video, but now you know why. Before we get on to the actual play, let's talk about our journey there. Because we thought, why not treat ourselves and travel first class by train? The first class treatment.
It's like a sponge.
Dude, and you nearly lost the biscuit then. So, we are riding first class. Lana's just got her breakfast. You show us your breakfast. It's a lovely sausage sandwich. Lovely. I obviously have to have gluten-free. This is what I've been given. I don't know what it is. I don't. Oh my days. Feel it. Touch it. Touch it. I've never experienced Hull trains first class before, and I was particularly thrilled when I booked that it said that the food had gluten-free options. But what that should say is gluten-free option, because there was only one, and it was an egg and cress sandwich. Although I'm not entirely sure that's what they gave me. I can only describe the texture as like a wet Play-Doh. I didn't need more than a single bite to know it was inedible. But I will say it gave us a great laugh. Genuinely, it was so funny. It was more entertainment than food.
It's like a cookie.
It's weird. I don't know. We had to go cress in it.
It looks like a cookie. It genuinely looks like you're holding a stuffed cookie.
It feels like a cold, moist, uncooked cookie with egg in it. Lana just said,
Potato.
Lana just said the sandwich was so funny that she would rather I had that than a good meal. It's true. Onto the play itself. The reason I wanted to go is I love Romeo and Juliet. I did it at school. I've seen 2 other productions of Romeo and Juliet before this one, so this was my 3rd. I thought, I love Romeo and Juliet. I love Tom Holland. Why not? Now, tickets were nearly impossible to get. Tickets range from about £25 to well up to £300. Fortunately, we managed to grab 2 of the £25 tickets, which is very reasonable for a West End show. Even more so for this. If I had have paid £300 to see this, I would have been mad. Directed by Jamie Lloyd. Jamie Lloyd is kind of famous for like very stripped back, bare production. I've always been aware of his work, but I've never actually seen one of his plays in person, but I have been aware of his previous productions. So it didn't shock me going in that the stage was completely empty, but the whole idea is that you strip everything back so that the acting and the text comes forward, which I'm sure has worked very well in other productions, and I've heard it has. In this one, not so much. We'll get to it. When we got into the theatre, it was very sort of atmospheric, very sort of intense, foreboding music playing. Dry ice was being pumped in to the theatre, and it just, yeah, you could tell you were in for something a bit dark. His is pretty good. It's warm though. We're going to be melted by the end of it. How excited are you? It's so loud and disconcerting. I'm very excited. Spooky. And we're like so close to Tom Holland. He's in this building right now. We're about to see him right there. That's mad. I've got an indication as to the priorities of this play with just the programme. If I go to, this is Tom Holland's bio in the programme. So you can see he gets a full page. Not only lists his credits, but goes into detail about some of the plots of the films that he's in, which is a bit weird. But then we get onto Juliet's page, and it's a little bit different. Francesca was amazing in this play. Tom Holland was good as well. I also loved Freema Agyeman in it as the nurse. I think she was probably my standout. I'll leave you first of all with our reaction coming out of the first half.
You fix my makeup.
You should have fixed your makeup. I have probably sweated off all of my makeup. What were your thoughts on the first half?
Give in to that. It's like trying to speak better. Yeah. You're gonna level up to the pretentiousness of it. Yes. Yeah. I genuinely feel such imposter syndrome.
Did you understand most of it? Yeah. Good. All my GCSE Shakespeare just came screaming back to me.
It's just like every so often everybody laughs and I'm like, I got that too.
I'll explain some of the jokes later. I really like Freema Agyeman's nurse. I think she's funny, and Tom Holland is. He has his arms out at one point, like.
Yeah, and it's such they were literally looking everywhere.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. I know. It is a bit of a weird staging compared to ones I've seen in the past. It's unique. But some of it's very, considering they're filming it live, it's very cinematic.
It's like watching more like a movie, but you're also there in the film.
It's very, and how they're using all of the theatre as a stage rather than just the stage. Oh my days, yeah. The little micro expressions that you like, oh that's really, yeah.
I don't know how this is played to stay so
professional. But no, it's really good.
And it keeps making me jump because they keep doing like these. I keep like, particularly like the murder scene. I was like, I wasn't expecting it to go black and then just like a massive like. No, it shouldn't have made me laugh. When the lights came back on and Tim was just on the floor like, I'm dead in a pile of blood, and you meant to be like, oh, and I was just like, I don't know. It is spinning. Figure out what it is.
For the first half, we were not 100% sure what to make of it. We were still pretty positive at this point. The most interesting thing was they had live camera footage that was projected onto a big screen onto the stage that was sort of semi-transparent. So you could see what was on screen, but you could also see actors standing behind the screen on stage. Good for certain shots. Some of the shots were beautifully shot in that they literally looked cinematic, but they were being shot live, so that was quite impressive. You could really get up in the actors' faces. It felt like the most pretentious college student production of Romeo and Juliet. It was like some kids trying to get an A star on his college assignment. Some of the choices of how it was staged were odd, and I think hindered the production. The actors themselves were brilliant. There was nothing wrong with any of their performances. They all brought everything to it. But I think how they were told to stand and how they were told to deliver certain lines really impacted. I went with my sister Lana, and she has never seen Romeo and Juliet. She is aware of the story to a certain degree, but her greatest understanding of Romeo and Juliet is from the film Romeo and Juliet, which, you know, not quite the same. So for her, she got the gist of it, but there was a lot of points where she was completely lost because the staging doesn't tell you where they are. Sometimes not even who they're speaking to, because a lot of times the characters are delivering their lines to the audience when they should be talking to each other. Two of the most famous scenes in the play are the balcony scene and also scene at the end where they die. And both these scenes were staged the same way. Both Romeo and Juliet, Tom Holland and Francesca, were sat at the front of the stage talking again to the audience and not to each other. And I had to explain to my sister that at this point Juliet is actually up on a balcony and she can't see or hear Romeo, and Romeo is hiding looking up at her at a balcony. But of course, with them both sat at the front of stage literally next to each other talking to the audience, unless you know the text, you don't know that that's what's happening. And again, when they die, he sits next to her, says his words, and he takes his microphone and earpiece off. And that's an indication that he is dead. And likewise, Juliet wakes up, doesn't even look at him, he whispers the lines, and then she takes her microphone off. I approve of the boldness to do something a bit different with it, but there were certain scenes that I think lacked because of the lack of costumes, lack of props. It's meant to elevate the text, and in actual fact, in certain scenes, the text was unintelligible, and without context, you didn't really know where you were. So yeah, it was, not my favourite production. It wasn't all bad. It felt like there was a lot of parts that were very high quality. It's how rare it is to see an A-list actor perform live. And the novelty as well is that because of the cameras, they were able to spread the play all over the theatre. So there were scenes set in the bar and in the foyer. At one point, Romeo is up on the roof and you follow him with the camera walking from the roof down the side of the building through the fire escape, around the back, and then you see him come back onto the stage, both on camera and in person, so that you realise it is all being filmed live. And that's novelty, and that was interesting, and that was an experience. It made it a very unique theatre experience. Oh, look at this. Absolute madness. That's the oversea of phones.
Well,
We're about to get run over by a cab.
If this ain't a sea of people.
That was,
I've never seen that many people in my life.
at stage door, that was madness. There were, before the theatre even like turned out, there was a queue of people down the street.
They hadn't even seen the show.
They didn't even see the show and they were outside. We could have just come and stood where they were.
Pretty much. Well, I didn't see
No.
anything of Tom
No,
Holland.
we saw more during the show,
We
to be
just
fair.
saw people's hands and people's phones.
Madness. But yeah, it was something.
It was over.
Yeah, if you want to die in this revision of Romeo and Juliet, just take your earpiece out.
Take your mic off. Then
Take your mic off and you're dead.
Sit in the fetal position and you're dead.
It was when the lights went off and came back on and they were both laid on him. And I'm like, that's just funny.
Honestly, well.
Right, we've got to figure out what we're doing next. Oh. I don't know. Open it. It's both of yours.
Okay.
Over.
I don't know if it's going to be boiling hot.
Oh yeah. Got us some Korean hot dogs. That cheese is just going on and on and on.
Let's go for it.
Let's go for it.
Look at that. Look at that cheese ball.
Oh my days.
Wherefore art thou, cheese ball? Right there. What you got, Soph?
I've got an ice cream taiyaki. With mermaid. She's just got her something she's wanted to try.
Yeah.
What's it called? A mill
It's crab cake.
crepe cake. Crepe with an E.
Crab cake.
Ooh. And you got the vanilla one, didn't you?
Yes.
You're going back for the matcha one now, aren't you?
Holy moly. That's good. Right.
That is good cake.
Pretend it's gluten free.
I can't.
No one has to know.
No one has to know.
Princess.
We're getting a couple of them to go home.
Oh my days.
Oh my days.
I need to keep it good. I'm emotional.
I think she's gonna
emotional.
cry.
Is it crazy?
That's insane. It's the best cake I've ever had.
This is what I'm saying.
Now my turn to give it to you.
Oh, okay. How do I turn? This is intimate. Okay. She shed a tear. That is delicious.
We are both so warm. Melting. Lana looks so red.
London trip.
Oh my days. We did it. We made it.
I'm gonna die.
So, good trip. We've had fun regardless.
It does not taste how it's meant to.
Oh really? We bought this like how many hours ago, and it's been so warm, and it's mainly buttercream. So I think we're gonna have to put it in the bin. You put me in the bin.
No, we're putting you in the bin.
It's got a weird nose to it now.
I'm so upset. I'm wanting to eat it.
Oh well. We'll have to wait till next time we go to London.
Yes.
We made it back to Hull.
I made it back to Hull.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
What did we learn about ourselves today? That we're not too we're not pretentious.
We're very below average.
Yes, we're not pretentious enough for Romeo and Juliet. But we are more pretentious than an egg and cress sandwich that tastes and looks like Play-Doh. So we're sweet spot.
Yeah.
In between.
Yeah.
We're above the sandwich, below
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for coming with me.
You're very welcome.
I have completely lost my voice. It was going this morning, but it is gone.
Mate, not more than Tom Holland has after all that screaming.
Flipping heck. But his arms were worth the price of admission.
Yeah. The 8-pack. So yeah,
Right,
let's go.
let's go. All in all, we had a great time. It was an experience, and it was an experience I would do again, to be honest. And I actually might end up doing again because Tom Hiddleston's doing a Jamie Lloyd Shakespeare play next year. And although I didn't particularly like Jamie Lloyd's interpretation of Romeo and Juliet, Tom Hiddleston is doing Much Ado About Nothing, which is a comedy. So I'd like to think that he can't make that too grimy and dark. Although I think he will certainly try. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my vlog / review and ramblings. The play's no longer on, so you can't go and see it. It ended about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. But as I say, I'm glad that I got a chance to see it, even if it was not 100% to my taste. But I probably will be going to see Tom Hiddleston next year, because he's the Tom H that I really love. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back at some point, I'm sure, and hopefully my voice will be somewhat normal. Thanks for watching.